From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. This is Dateline Malacañang. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Sunday congratulated Indonesia's new leaders as he witnessed the inauguration of President Prabowo Subianto and Vice President Gibran Rakabuming Raka. President Marcos and First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos joined other world leaders in witnessing the Indonesian leader's inauguration at the House of Representatives building in Jakarta. Among the leaders who were present in the ceremony were Brunei Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah and Singaporean Prime Minister Lawrence Wong. In a social media post, the Philippine president said, "Indonesia is one of the Philippines' long-standing partners and closest friends in the Southeast Asian region." The chief executive reaffirmed the country's desire to further strengthen bilateral ties with Indonesia on this momentous occasion and in lieu of the 75th anniversary of diplomatic relations between both nations in November. President Marcos was invited by Prabowo's predecessor, Joko Widodo, whose eldest son, Gibran, became Indonesia's youngest vice president. Prabowo visited Manila last month and met with President Marcos at Malacañang Palace in Manila, where they affirmed their vision for their nation's greater ties. The Philippines and Indonesia are among the founding nations of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., along with First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos, arrived in the country from Jakarta, Indonesia, before 5 o'clock Monday morning. The President and First Lady attended the inauguration of new Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto and Vice President Gibran Rakabuming Raka. In an information shared by Presidential Communications Office, or PCO Acting Secretary Cesar Chavez, the plane that carried the Chief Executive and First Lady landed in Manila around 4:45 Monday morning. The first couple joined other world leaders in witnessing the Indonesian leader's inauguration at the House of Representatives building in Jakarta. They were invited by Prabowo's predecessor Joko Widodo, whose eldest son, Gibran Rakabuming Raka, became Indonesia's youngest vice president. Prabowo visited Manila last month and met with President Marcos at Malacañang Palace in Manila, where they affirmed their vision for their nation's greater ties. According to Secretary Chavez, the President's activity for Monday will still push through. Chavez said President Marcos have only private meetings lined up, including an administrative meeting in the afternoon.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, Philippine Defense Secretary Gilberto Chodoro Jr. has urged the public to take early precautions as a new weather disturbance is predicted to enter the Philippine Area of Responsibility, or PAR, Sunday evening or Monday morning. According to the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration or PAGASA, a low pressure area or LPA off Virac, Catanduanes Province is expected to develop into a tropical depression within the next 24 hours. Once it enters the country, it will be designated as Christine. Chodoro noted that predictive analysis from the Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD indicate that over 1 million individuals could be affected by the impending tropical cyclone. The Mines and Geosciences Bureau has reported that 5,688 villages are at risk of landslides and flooding in regions projected to be impacted by Christine, which is anticipated to make landfall on the eastern coast of Cagayan by Thursday and may traverse northern Luzon. The system is forecasted to reach typhoon intensity before landfall. In response, the Office of Civil Defense or OCD has instructed its regional offices to initiate preparedness measures for Christine, as the rain bands associated with the potential tropical cyclone may bring moderate to heavy rainfall to the Bicol region, Samar provinces, and other areas starting Tuesday. Precautionary measures include heightened monitoring of warnings and advisories from PAGASA and the Mines and Geosciences Bureau, conducting pre-disaster risk assessments and weather update sessions as needed, intensifying the dissemination of critical weather information to vulnerable communities, coordinating with local authorities for timely distribution of warnings and updates, preparing evacuation plans, and submitting situational reports to the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council or NDRRMC Operations Center. Additionally, OCD regional offices have been directed to remind the public that the Department of Science and Technology or DOST and PAGASA should be their primary sources for official weather updates to combat misinformation. Currently, all monitored dams are under non-flood watch status. However, Ambuclao, Binga, Magat, and San Roque are being closely monitored according to the State Weather Bureau.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, in its 5 o'clock Monday morning bulletin, the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration or PAGASA said a number of areas in the Philippines have already been placed under Tropical Cyclone Wind Signal number 1 as Christine entered the Philippine Area of Responsibility or PAR and have been upgraded to a tropical depression. Signal number 1 have been raised in Catanduanes, the northeastern portion of northern Samar, and the northeastern portion of eastern Samar. PAGASA expects Christine to reach tropical storm category by Monday afternoon and could reach severe tropical storm by Tuesday. PAGASA added that Christine will reach typhoon category by Thursday. Meantime, the Department of the Interior and Local Government or DILG raised to Alert Level Alpha provinces that might be affected by Tropical Depression Christine. Based on the latest report from the DILG Central Office Disaster Information Coordinating Center or CODEX, almost all of the provinces in Luzon, including Metro Manila and the whole Samar Island in the Visayas, might experience winds blowing up to 55 kilometers per hour and moderate to heavy rainfall. In a social media post, DILG Secretary John Vic Rimulya reminded each local government unit or LGU to prepare for Storm Christine, especially those that are expected to be affected by the storm. According to the Secretary, Metro Manila, Cagayan Valley, Central Luzon, and Calabarzon might experience the extreme effects of the storm starting Wednesday evening.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine officials underscored the importance of forging peace through solidarity among nations as the country commemorated Sunday the 80th anniversary of the Leyte Gulf landings led by United States General Douglas MacArthur. House of Representatives Speaker Martin Romualdez, Defense Secretary Gilberto Chodoro Jr., Ambassadors Hei Kyung-yu of Australia, Endo Kazuya of Japan, and U.S. Major General Matthew McFarland joined the celebration. Local officials also witnessed the commemoration led by Leyte Governor Carlos Jericho Petilla and Leyte Mayor Remedios Petilla. In his message during the commencement ceremony at MacArthur Landing Memorial National Park in Candahug, Palo, Leyte Province, Romualdez said that the country has reached to promoting and protecting respective national interests no longer through the destructive contest of arms and violence, but through peaceful diplomatic efforts which are more sustainable. The commemoration reenacted the historic landing and return of MacArthur to the Philippines on October 20th, 1944 to help defeat the Japanese forces. Chodoro, for his part, lauded the administration's efforts to honor the sacrifices of war veterans in protecting the country against foreign invaders and natural disasters. The defense chief also read the message of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., reminding the younger generations of the hard work of war veterans to keep the country's freedom. The program with the theme, Bayani ng Kahapon, Dakilang Huwaran ng mga Kabataan Ngayon, or in English, Yesterday's Heroes, a Great Inspiration for the New Generation, began with a flag-raising ceremony of the Philippine flag and those of participating countries, followed by a wreath-laying before the memorial. Solidarity greetings were also extended by veterans and the ambassadors. Governor Petilla delivered the anniversary message while the Visayas State University Tolosa Chorale concluded the event with a rendition of the Leyte hymn.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has ordered the expansion of the West Cebu Industrial Park, Philippine Economic Zone Authority or PEZA Registered Special Economic Zone in Balamban Town in the province of Cebu. Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin signed Proclamation Number 710 on October 16th, a copy of which was made public Sunday, designating several parcels of land located at the villages of Arpili and Buanoy for inclusion into the existing West Cebu Ecozone. According to the proclamation, the additional land has a total land area of 176,783 square meters or roughly 17.6 hectares. West Cebu Industrial Park has been playing a significant role as an important hub of the Philippines' shipbuilding industry for more than 30 years. It is being operated by the Cebu Industrial Park Developers Incorporated or CIPDI, a joint venture between the Aboitiz Group and the Tsuneshi Group of Japan. Currently a 540-hectare mixed-use development, the ecozone hosts 11 locators from medium to heavy industries, some of which are the biggest shipbuilding firms in the world, making Balamban the shipbuilding capital of the Philippines. Meanwhile, the President also signed new laws creating additional branches of regional trial courts or RTC across several regions in the country. President Marcos signed the following laws on October 17th. The Republic Act No. 12029, creating 2 additional RTC branches in the 4th Judicial Region to be stationed in Silang, Cavite Province. Republic Act or RA No. 12030, creating 3 additional branches of the Metropolitan Trial Court or METC in the National Capital Region or NCR Judicial Region to be stationed in Parañaque City. RA No. 12031, creating 2 additional RTC branches in the 2nd Judicial Region to be stationed in Cabagan, Isabela Province. RA number 12032, creating 3 additional RTC branches in the 10th Judicial Region to be stationed in San Jose, Dinagat Islands, and 2 additional METC branches in the municipalities of San Jose and Basilisa. RA number 12033, creating an additional RTC branch in the 8th Judicial Region to be stationed in the city of Baybay, Leyte Province. RA number 12034, creating 6 additional RTC branches in the 9th Judicial Region to be stationed in Diplahan, Zamboanga, Sibugay Province. Republic Act No. 12035, creating 3 additional RTC branches in the 10th Judicial Region to be stationed in the city of Valencia, Bukidnon Province, and RA No. 12036, creating 4 additional RTC branches in the 8th Judicial Region to be stationed in Tacloban City, Leyte Province. The Supreme Court or SC is mandated to assign the respective branch numbers for the newly created branches of the RTC. While the funds necessary for the implementation of the new laws, including appropriations for personnel services such as salaries, benefits, and emoluments for judges and court personnel, court operations under maintenance, and other operating expenses or MOOE will be included in the Annual General Appropriations Act.
Dateline Malacañang.
Department of Energy or DOE Secretary Rafael Lotilla led the Philippine delegation to strengthen the diplomatic and business connection of the country to the United Arab Emirates or UAE, particularly on investments in renewable and clean energy. Among the delegation are top executives of the Maharlika Investment Corporation or MIC and leading companies in energy. They met with UAE Energy Minister Suhail Al-Mazrei and business leaders from Masdar, a world leader in renewable energy. Discussed during the meeting were potential partnership in solar, wind, and nuclear energy, where Masdar expressed interest in developing a project in the Philippines. Lotilla underscored that the Philippines is a big potential for investment and the government's push for a clean energy transition, including hydrogen and small modular nuclear reactors. The mission, according to the DOE, shows the Philippines' dedication in energy diplomacy that aims to ensure sustainable development and energy security under the administration of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, over the weekend said that the Philippines and Malaysia have agreed to further elevate their bilateral ties, particularly in the defense, economic, and cultural fields. DFA Secretary Enrique Manalo and Malaysian Foreign Minister Dato Seri Utama Haji Muhammad bin Haji Hassan committed to improving the two nations' people-to-people relations during the 8th Philippine-Malaysian Joint Commission meeting, or JCM, in Kuala Lumpur on October 16th. In a press statement, the DFA said both ministers signed the minutes of discussion, which reflect the wide array of issues discussed at the JCM and provide the framework for follow-up work by agencies of both countries on issues discussed and identified to enhance bilateral cooperation. It added that these issues include defense and law enforcement, economic cooperation, people-to-people exchanges, and cultural cooperation. Before the holding of the JCM, Manalo had a private meeting with Hassan to discuss regional and international matters of mutual interest. Secretary Manalo also called on Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim after the 8th JCM. In July, Hassan met with Manalo in Manila to discuss the proposed Philippine-Malaysia agreements, including in sports, cultural cooperation, tourism, higher education, and the development of the halal industry. The 8th JCM was convened for the first time since 2011 and came at the heels of several high-level visits between the two countries since 2023. The Philippines and Malaysia are also celebrating the 60th anniversary of official diplomatic relations this year.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, or PDEA, on Sunday reported that the Marcos administration's anti-drug campaign has so far netted a total of 49.82 billion pesos worth of narcotics. In its report, PDEA said that from July 2022 to September 30th this year, authorities have seized 6,481.16 kilograms of shabu, 75.69 kilograms of cocaine, 115,081 pieces of ecstasy tablets, and 5,626.8 kilograms of marijuana. Records also showed that 114,892 drug suspects were arrested, including 7,364 high-value targets during 84,676 operations conducted across the country. A total of 1,181 drug dens and a clandestine shabu laboratory were dismantled during the same period. Meanwhile, 29,211 out of 42,000 villages in the country have been declared drug-cleared during the same period, while 6,292 are in the process of being cleared. During his third State of the Nation address in July, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. pledged to continue the bloodless anti-narcotics drive. The president said extermination is not a part of his administration's anti-drug campaign. Meanwhile, a high-value drug suspect in Daet, Camarines Norte Province was arrested on Saturday. Lieutenant Colonel Malu Kalubakib, Police Regional Office or PRO Bicol spokesperson, said suspect alias Laika yielded 165 grams of shabu valued at 1.12 million pesos. The arrest suspect and confiscated items are now in the custody of the Dait Municipal Office for proper disposition.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, Radyo Pilipinas World Service of the Presidential Broadcast Service is heard over the following shortwave frequencies: 15.640 MHz, 17.820 MHz, and 12.010 MHz. You can also visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel at Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You will be able to hear and view our Filipino and English programs, including news updates here in the Philippines. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our post as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.